I remember when I started to rebuild my life after getting sober. I was still pretty sick.
Mhm.
So people would come up to me and say, "Don't worry, it'll get better."
Mhm.
While I was grateful for their kind words, on the inside I was thinking, are they kidding? My life is already 1,000 times better. Now, I know my experience was a bit unique. Most people starting their rebuild are staring at a lot of damage. They don't see a clear lane forward. They're focused on everything they lost or the what ifs. But for me, I was just happy to be sober, and I knew I had a clean slate. But here's the catch. With that clean slate, I felt like I was in some sort of a limbo because I really didn't know what to do next.
I felt that same way. I was terrified the morning I left my abusive life in Florida with basically nothing. But when I finally arrived in California, I could breathe. The abuse was over and the relief was massive. But just like you, once that initial relief settled, I didn't know how to move forward either.
But here's the reality of that initial relief. Even though we were incredibly grateful to be out of the crisis, we both still carried this quiet fear. The past was over, but the future hadn't started yet. We were kind of stuck in this limbo.
Today, we're sharing what being stuck between the past and the future was like, the relief, the fear, and the tool that finally got us moving forward.
So, if you're starting over after 50 and you're stuck between the past that's over and the future that hasn't started yet, you're not alone. Welcome to Rebuild with Clarity. We help those over 50 rebuild after life's hardest moments. We share the actual strategies we use to start over from the ground up.
When I lived in Florida, I was caught in a cycle of abuse. One night out in the dark countryside, my ex-husband pushed me for the last time. I surrendered to God, and then I took action and made a plan to leave. But it wasn't easy. Escaping meant walking away from everything: my car, my job, my home, and even our horses. However, when I stepped off that plane in California, like I said earlier, I could finally breathe. The suffocating weight of the abuse lifted. I wanted to move forward, but I didn't really know where to start at the time.
My experience seemed different at first. I was fighting with alcohol abuse, but I was finally able to quit. It was rough and it landed me in the hospital, but when I finally came out of it, I did start to heal. For the first time, I felt truly alive and started to feel more clear-headed. And just like you, I wanted to move forward, but I didn't know where to start either. We were both stuck in the limbo between our past and the future we wanted. Even though we both found relief from our individual devastating circumstances, we now had a life with no structure. We both realized that if we wanted to rebuild our lives the right way, we really needed to do something different. And if you're trying to figure out how to do something different in your own rebuild, subscribe to the channel so we can keep navigating this together.
We're sharing this because we see many people focus on the wrong things. They focus on the past or get stuck in the fear of starting over, rather than the action it takes to keep moving forward. What we often see is people focusing on issues that they have no control over, as well as issues that really do matter, like family or relational conflicts, financial problems, etc.
The key is to focus on the immediate problems we can control, let go of the rest, and keep our own peace so we can deal with those problems in a productive way. So how do we do that? We build a new framework to navigate it.
One of the main tools we use for that new framework is movement. We schedule a movement that would protect our peace and make us happy. That's why you see us cycling and boating and hiking now.
Cycling keeps our eyes on the path ahead. You can't ride a bike while looking backward. It's the intentional movement that keeps your head clear and focused on the new life you are building, something we didn't have when we were just trying to survive. We replaced an underlying fear of not knowing what to do next with a daily framework that actually works.
Whether we're skiing, out in the mountains, camping, hiking, out on our boat, or riding our bikes, these activities are part of our life now. They aren't just hobbies, they are the evidence of our recovery. We didn't choose these things just to fill time. We chose them because doing what we love keeps us strong, and nature gives us peace.
So, how do you get out of that limbo between the past and the future when you are rebuilding your life? As you can see, our answer is movement or activities. For you, it may look a bit different. What do you like to do? Is it a physical activity like walking or pickleball? Or is it something a little less strenuous like reading or painting or even playing chess? The point here is one of the most important things you can do for your rebuild is to get your mind focusing on something that you can engage with and enjoy. You will be amazed at how taking your thoughts away from those everyday problems, even if it's just for a short time, will allow you to tackle those issues much more effectively.
Try writing down a couple of things that you love to do and then schedule a time for you to do one of those things this week.
If you aren't sure what that should be, our free clarity quiz below can help you find your direction. And to see what else helped us move forward, watch our video on the missing piece nobody told you right here.
Keep going.
We've got this.